Hey everyone, so this is a quick demo of an exciting new product that was launched recently. It's called Amazon Noah Act. Uh, that is like basically it's for just imagine that there are like in real day scenarios here. I mean, our actions are pretty complex, right? I mean, like go to the website, say for example Amazon.com, you go select search something, and pick and choose those things that are available there, and then put them in a cart, shopping cart, and then finally you end up paying for it. And all it's a complex set of actions. So this Noah Act is supposed to be able to do it based on instructions that we give, right? And so I mean, it's still early days yet. I mean, I have to tell you that while this is currently available only in the US, so I'm using VPN to actually test it out. And as you can see, Novat has done admirably well compared to other such similar products, right? So, and there are a lot of resources that are available there. I mean, it's pretty easy to get started, to install the SDK and then get a key, and then you can, script it. Obviously, in the real world, you will not, give it manually. You'll write a program, right? That's what we're going to do today. There are a lot of sample code available in, the AWS website. These, for example, there are some fairly complex ones. Like for example, here, this one actually is trying to find apartments which are situated close to Caltrain stations, right? And so the user gives in like which station that this person is interested, and then it searches for, the apartments that are available. It has, a specific number of bedrooms and baths, etc. Obviously, I think the most important thing is, the websites that we use to actually, scripters also should support being able to be accessed by, like agents. Like some of the websites detect that it's being accessed by agent, and they kind of make you do some like mathematics puzzles and stuff like that, right? So anyway, so that's there. The first, I mean, like, thing that I wanted to quickly check was, obviously I'm checking this out from Bangalore, and who better than I want to test go, look at the next available match for our Royal Challengers Bangalore RCB. When is it playing? When is it against whom, and so on and so forth, right? Let's quickly do this before we get on to, a more complex example. So let's get started. The first example is Emmanuel. I will then switch to a more complex one. In this case, telling it no act, that my starting page is the RCB's homepage. So now this guy will launch a browser and go to Royal Challengers, the website, as you can see, right? Now, here's the interesting thing, right? So when it pops up, you get this kind of pop-ups, right, which most websites have. So now let's make okay, this pop-up came. I want it to, like accept this particular banner. My intention is to close the pop-up so that I can get on with it. Okay, it did it. So what is that I want to see? I want to check the tickets. Let's go there. Well, I mean, so let's go to the next task, which is actually, to click the tickets icon. Clicks the tickets icon, hopefully. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's come to the tickets page. Now the last ultimate test is what is it? So as you can see, it's giving me the responses where it's happening, and it also shares those snapshots, right, where it's doing that. So it is satisfied that it's done the job. So no, not this. I already did this. So what is that I wanted to do? Yeah, so um, the next job is to actually, I want to know data about the next RCB match. I want to know the date and time and the team names, right? So uh, let's see what it returns. Is it intelligent enough? Oh, and by the way, tickets seem to be available and they are expensive. Right. So it's able to see and what it say. Hmm. So I think I got to the problem was it just got me like Saturday, May 3rd, because I guess the page is called. So what I need is return the data with the first match, right? So let's see in this case, it's able to get the first match for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Cool. So in this case, I think as you saw, the prompt needs to be precise. So in this case, it is able to get that, like the first match that is there is, the Royal Challengers Bangalore with against Rajasthan Royals, right? Which is correct. And the date is also April 24, 2025, and 7:30 p.m. is matched, right? So this gives you a little bit of idea about how this works. So let's get out of this. Obviously, this is not the real world thing, right? So, what I wanted to do is, you wanted to make sure that that we do something which is more real, right? So, in this case, what I wanted to do is, as you all know, we have our AWS Summit that is in Bangalore. It is coming up very soon on the May 7th and 8th, and it's at the KTPO Center. Shameless plug for you folks to register, but that's not the point. What I wanted to do, make Act 2 was actually to find me some hotels in Bangalore, and then maybe say, I need four-star hotels, and then once it gives me a list of 10 hotels, then we use Google Maps to actually find the distance and how much time it would take to drive down from the hotel to, in this case, the KTPO, right? This is what pretty ambitious one. I mean, so fortunately I didn't need to do it myself. I did find a blog that was written by Vivek, who's in his community building. He had given some demo code and how he was able to find, he's already planning way ahead for Reinvent 25 to find hotels in Las Vegas. And so I basically used the code, made some changes to obviously make sure that there are situations just to find out, right? So let's start. As I said, we will not be interactive. So there is a way to invoke node in a headless kind of fashion, right? So let's run this in a headless manner. Right? Cool. So in this case, as I said, we'll run the Vivek's slightly modified ones. You can see it's an awesome code. I won't go into the entire details of the code, but it's primarily a search the hotel. I'm using a portal goindigo.in/hotels for me to search for hotels which are like 4-star and user rating I'm making. So it's all scripted. Whatever you saw earlier where I entered them manually, you will give them via the Nova Act SDK, right? It kind of does it. And then the second part of it is once you have a list of hotels, it uses maps.google to search for the distance between the hotel and Karnataka Trade Promotions Organization, where the AWS Summit Bengaluru 2025 is being held. Right. End result essentially the hotel names, the price per night, and the distance and time it takes to drive down there. Right. Okay, so let's get started with this code. So here it is, this code in this, and I'll start, right? So it would, full H, it will start one by one. It does a lot of stuff, so we'll not go through the entire mechanism of how it does. We'll just kickstart it and come back once it is done, right? So similar to how it was there, this interactive one, since this is a headless one, you will not get to see the screen, but it does maintain an extensive log if you want to go back to how it happened, where it happened, and things like that, right? So let's give it some time for this app to run through its, go through its motions, and we'll get back once it is done. Okay, so it started. Obviously, the first one is to search for hotels in Bangalore. If you see this right, I think it will go through these prompts, right? I mean, I'm just saying blah blah other things. Go to the Go Indigo website and then enter Bangalore and then check-in date. Number of guests is one and property type hotel, 4-star. So obviously you will need to have an understanding of the website and how it works before you actually script it, right? So in this case, this is what it is doing. Step by step, it goes through it. If it can't do it, it's also intelligent enough to scroll down the page, and finally it's able to do things like find check the hotel, etc., etc. And then finally it does it, And once, this is the actual role where it says, I've done all this, went into the search. Can I see the results? Yes, I can see the results. And then after we go, then it'll start obviously listing the name of hotels in Bangalore, 4 star. And I guess the filter criteria is also the user rating is item. So hotels, and in the code, I've made it that get me like in hotels. So I think it will collect in hotels, right? And then it will go to the next one. Once it is done, the 10 hotels, it's done, it's found something. Obviously, I think there are some, I guess, I had to figure out, why some hotels, for example, St. Mark's Hotel was zero, but that's something we need to check. I don't go too much into the details, but it's able to get it to in the next iteration of Nova Active and can get some of these details. Maybe I need to look at the code and how I parse it first, right? Okay, then the next one is actually finding the distance, right? So this is the second part of the application where it actually invokes, uh, like where it actually goes to maps.google.com and searches between the KTPO and where the AWS and Bangalore is and the hotel, right? So obviously now you have a list of hotel, then it starts doing the search one by one from each of the hotel, Hilton Garden, Mulberry, blah blah, Ritz Carlton, etc. And then obviously it finds the distance and the time it would take to drive down from those hotels, and it collects those data one by one, right? Obviously these are all extremely laborious tasks, which would involve, if a human were to do it, it would be, like take a lot of people and time, right? So this is what I think Nova Act has been able to do, and this is the final result. While the prices might be off like this, but at least this is actually good, right? I mean, it's like the closest to KDPO. Next one is a law, Fairfield, etc. Blah blah other things, and then obviously you don't want to stay here, right? Because this is in North Bangalore in the hills. And obviously you're not come for the summit, maybe you come for something else, right? So etc. Okay, so this I think was the intent of this application. We showed you both one an interactive way and another access to act. Hope this is useful and it will get you started to act. Evaluate no act. I'm certainly very excited by the various capabilities of this tool. Thank you.